Endangered species, too early in the morning for me. This week, Parklife goes to Africa, where tribesman Kerins discovered it's not easy being torn between two loves.
How long before I get in? Before it starts, before I begin?
Well, I went to Africa for 2-3 months there at the start of the year. I was working in Zambia. I was based in the Cheshire Home for the Physically Disabled Children, run by a brilliant nun called Sister Kathy Crawford from Laois. As a physiotherapist, I have the profession skills to help people over there, so I decided to do something different. You really have to be there to understand what AIDS is doing to Africa. You know, they say there's 800,000 orphans in Zambia alone at the moment, and they reckon by 2010 there'll be 40 million AIDS orphans between Cape Town and Sudan. So that's pretty horrendous. You know, it'd be nice to go back in 4 or 5 years' time and see them being able to grow their own food at least. We plan to sink as many boreholes as we can well so that people can irrigate the land. We also plan to buy oxen and ploughs, which is in process at the moment, and buy the seeds and give them to people so they can fend for themselves.
Richie Murray getting it up towards Kerins. Coonan is available to his right, but Kerins, I think, took the right option, took his point well.
I suppose I thought a little bit about hurling when I was over there, right, but it's hard to, when over there so busy. I had a ball and hurl with me, all right, and used to puck it against the wall, but it was so hot as well, you couldn't stay out under the sun over there. But I suppose it pales into significance when you're dealing with death over there and we're dealing with dying people and hungry people.
Porrick Joyce, little jink, dead ahead to Kerins, his partner up front. And the umpires have a good look, and this one has gone over the bar. 2001,
right, was a roller coaster year. I don't have a football background at all. I didn't even have a club a few years ago. I took up football in Trinity because hurling was weak in Trinity at the time. So I got called into the panel very late, 2 weeks before the championship, and actually, I suppose, made the team, which caused a bit of controversy. Yeah, it was a very roller coaster year and a bittersweet year, I suppose. Hurling being my #1 game. We lost the All-Ireland final that year to Tipperary, narrowly. And then I started every game for the football that year, but got dropped for the final, which was tough to take as well at the time. But I made an appearance and won a medal, which kind of was some consolation for the hurling loss, and it was a nice achievement, a totally unexpected achievement at the start of the year.
Galway, the first ever side to be beaten in a provincial championship match, to go on and lift the Sam Maguire Cup.
In Galway, there isn't a strong history of a dual player, which made it a lot more difficult. And a few controversies did arise where ultimatums were given and they were publicised, and unfortunately, but they all resolved again, and that did take a toll. Obviously, the mental pressure of, oh, I wonder will he be thick with you not turning up training, and you'd be mentally exhausted of trying to please everybody and trying to be everywhere. And I suppose the saying goes, you can only serve one master. Hurling would be my first love. It has been tough to make my way back into the starting 15 this year. I was away for a lot of the league, and I came back, and I suppose the heat exhaustion from Africa and I suppose the lack of games as well didn't help me, but thanks be to God now I started as a substitute for the first 3 qualifiers and came on the Limerick game and made my way back into the team for the Tipperary game. And it's nice to be back in the starting 15, that's what every player wants. It was very significant to win the Tipperary game because the last few years we have been non-existent really as a force in hurling, you know, and the talent is there. For this group of players it's vital as well that we get back to the big stage and really try and prove ourselves. But if we flop again against Kilkenny, we'll be back to the drawing board, so we need to build on that game, and we have a lot of improvements to do because Kilkenny will be a different kettle of fish definitely the next day.
Yeah, Kerins.